Hey gang, in this video I'm going to tell you how we've lost £2.1 million so far whilst coronavirus has been going on. Companies like Primark though are losing £650 million a month whilst this carries on. So you might be thinking, well James, what are you doing about it? Well, let me tell you exactly what's happened. I've had to close 11 of our sites. That's 9 indoor play centres, 3 laser arenas, a teddy bear business. Yeah, I do make teddy bears. I've actually made over 1 million teddy bears. And I've got a skeleton staff in my day nursery business. So all in all, we lose about £250,000 worth of turnover a week. And we've actually gone through some peak periods like the Easter 2-week school holidays is actually our most profitable trading weekend of the year. And that 2-week stint, and the weather was glorious, so we would have actually gone like gangbusters. But that's happened, we've had to accept that. But it's counting. Yes, it's counting. What I mean by it's counting is every week this goes on, another 200 to 250, sometimes £300,000 worth of cash is lost as coronavirus hits businesses around the world. So now you know, all those businesses closed and there's me, the entrepreneur, trying to get through. And you might be thinking, well, haven't you been on the phone to HMRC and taken advantage of all of these things that Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor, has said that he's going to help businesses? What does that help for businesses look like? Well, there's the Sybil's loans. That's the coronavirus business interruption loan scheme, in case you was wondering. And then there's also these government grants. In terms of government grants, yes, we have received £25,000. But let me just give you some context to that. For us, that's about a day's turnover. And also, we've put in £7 million over the last 10 years in business rates. In fact, every single year I've worked out we roughly send between £4 and £5 million to the Treasury in various taxes, VAT, national insurance, insurance premium tax. I mean, I could go on, there's so many, but we are where we are. And I've come to the realization that if you want to get through this, you've got to use entrepreneurial nous and spirit, effort, enthusiasm and energy to get through. Someone else that I've been watching very closely is Richard Branson and the Virgin Group, and I'm so interested in what's happening there and all the hate that they're getting that I'm going to make a video about this in the coming days. So make sure you check that out when it comes out. Those guys are after a £500 million loan from the government, and the government are being a bit hitchy about this. This is not a bailout. They actually want to pay that money back. EasyJet have had 600 million already. So I'm going to be watching that because I think there's a bit of a witch hunt against Virgin and Richard Branson, and I think he's a fabulous entrepreneur and I think it's unjust and unjustifiable. So check out that video when it comes out in the next couple of days. And let's now go back to these Sybil's, these coronavirus business interruption loan schemes. The government have said they're going to give £330 billion, or they've got a pot of £330 billion worth of cash. How much do you think of that 330 billion has actually got to SMEs, actually hit their bank account for the business interruption that they've had through this? Talking about business interruption, and we will come back to this in a minute, but has anyone actually had any luck from their insurers? If you've heard anything from your insurance companies, and I'll be following this up and I'll be updating this on videos because I think there's a big legal ramifications to come from that. Raymond Blanc, I don't know if you've heard of him, he owns 37 restaurants, he's quite a celebrity chefy type of guy. He's closed all of his businesses because he's had to, like my businesses, and he's gone to his insurers, Hiscox, and Hiscox has said that even though you've got infectious diseases is a clause that he's got in his policy that says we will pay you out, they've refused to pay out, and he's taken them to court. He's actually going legal on them. I think so many insurers are going to be taken to court. Anyway, back to the Sybil's loan thing that we was talking about. So knowing that you're not going to get insurance to pay you out, you've got to go to the government and borrow some money from them, and you're going to have to pay it back. You're going to have to pay it back over 6 years. Year 1, you are going to get interest free. There's no fees to set up the loan. Usually there's a 1 or 2% fee with a bank loan that you have to pay, but you don't have to pay that. The government are going to cover that, and also there'll be no interest to pay. So 330 billion, that's what they want to lend. How much do you think's actually got through to people? Have a little guess, ladies and gents. I'm going to write it up on the board. Here we go. 1.1 billion. That's how much has been lent to businesses so so far. So 10% would be 35 billion, 1% would be 3.5 billion, but it's not even 1%. So banks are holding on to this cash and it's not getting through. The liquidity is not getting through to businesses. But we're going to borrow £600,000 and that's going to cover some of our essential costs. Those essential costs like utilities, we've still got to pay for our electrics. Maybe there's going to be some landlords that get quite heavy and won't come to favourable deals for us. I'm going to do another video about that as well, because that's another one to talk about. I'll tell you one thing that has annoyed me about this grant thing. I just don't think the government have thought this through. For example, if someone's got an Airbnb is like well, you own a property but you rent it out on a daily basis. It's like you've got your own hotel. I'm sure some of you have stayed in Airbnbs. Well, they've registered themselves as businesses and they're getting a £10,000 grant. I doubt anyone's making £10,000 clear profit from owning any buy-to-let property. And how does that seem fair when someone like me that employs 450 people and has paid millions and millions of pounds into the system only gets a measly £25,000? That's even, it's nothing. So I've come to the realization that I'm going to have to borrow debt and use that debt to pay to be closed. Usually when I borrow money, it's because I'm going to buy a business or grow a business or scale a business. Not this time. Everything's changing. So what am I going to do about it? That might be your biggest question. When I'm using my entrepreneurial now, so we've set up a multiple string of new revenue streams while this has been going on. Number one, my Entrepreneurs University, my business coaching platform. You should give it a try for 14 days where I'll teach you everything. One of the things that I'm teaching on there and we've had to do is how to get onto Amazon. Because like I told you, we sell 1 million teddy bears plus, and we are a wholesaler, so we sell to theme parks and retail shops. But the problem is those things are closed right now. So we've had to learn how to pivot, because if we don't pivot, we're not going to profit, then we're not going to pay for everything. And I'm sitting on £500,000 worth of teddy bears right now. So we managed to get it onto Amazon Prime, and it's been a bit of a rigmarole to work out the Amazon ways of doing things, but we got there in the end, and we'll be soon shipping to retail. So we're going from B2B, B2C. So hopefully when this is all finished, we'll have a good B2B business and a good B2C business. And that's what great entrepreneurs are doing right now. They're not crying in their heads and they're thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do about this? They're thinking, how can we pivot? Because wherever money goes, energy has to flow after it. One of the other things we've done is we've set up an online drive-through click and collect supermarket. Yeah, you heard. So basically you turn up to a car park, you get your old smartphone out, you order the food you want on your smartphone, and then we put the food in your boot. So no more queuing up for 2 hours, no more contact, keeps it nice and safe. And we've got through, and we've actually had paying customers. In our first 4 days of trading, we've done £5,000 worth of sales. It's not massive, but it's something, and it's a contribution to the overheads that we've still got while coronavirus is going on. And who knows, we might even turn that into a full-time shop when this is all over, because that's what we've had to do. We've had to innovate, because I understand if you don't innovate, you're going to evaporate. And we didn't want to evaporate. We're not going to evaporate. I'm going to keep my energy, I'm going to keep my enthusiasm, and I'm going to keep my real power in the game. Even though there's a big sigh there, guys, I still believe that when we come through this, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to do very well. There's going to be a ton of opportunities. I've already been sent tons of businesses that are going bust, and people have offered them to me and said, hey James, do you want to take this over? Guess what? I'm looking at them because I believe that you've got to do something. And I believe there are tons of opportunities. So guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. I just wanted to let you know that yes, I've lost £2.1 million so far. I reckon by the time this is done, it's going to be more like £6 million. How's it affecting your business? Let me know in the comments below. And seriously, give that Entrepreneurs University a try. If you want to learn how to sell on Amazon like me, I put a module in there so you can do just that. I'll see you real soon. Comment below and let me know. Watch this video here because it will help you grow your business through coronavirus. It'll tell you all the tips and tricks that I've learned, and subscribe to the channel by clicking here and give us one of those if you've enjoyed this. See ya. Bye bye.